everyone, I'm Rincey and this is Rincey Reads. Today I'm going to be discussing the book The Art of Fielding by Chad Harbach, or Harbach, I'm not sure how you say his last name, but the book is called The Art of Fielding. The story takes place in a fictional small college in Wisconsin. It follows this character named Henry, who is a shortstop on the baseball team there, and basically he's like a prodigy. He is on his way to breaking this record of most games without an error, and so everyone has their eyes on him, everyone's thinking he's gonna get scouted and pulled into the minors or the majors. The story also follows a couple other people, some of Henry's teammates. Mike, who is the guy who actually found Henry and recruited him to come play college ball. His roommate and also teammate Owen. The story also ends up following the president at the university, Gwert, I think that's how you say his name, Affenlight, and his daughter Pella. All of these people have very different stories that are happening, but they all, kind of come together and start to converge around this single game that's about to happen where Henry's gonna break the record. And the game comes, and this isn't really a spoiler, so don't yell at me for this, but the game comes and then something goes wrong. And then after that, everything sort of starts to fall apart and you see the strings unraveling in this plan that everyone has. I have been wanting to read this book basically since last year when it came out. I feel like everyone and their brother was talking about this book. Every book review magazine and website was talking about this book. It was on a lot of best of 2011 lists. Even like authors that I knew were talking about this book and how great it was. For those of you who might be a little bit concerned about not liking this book because it's about baseball, let me just tell you, it's not really a book about baseball. It's a book about people that uses baseball to bring out different characteristics about them and to discuss and mess with them and kind of change, and uses baseball as a sort of metaphor, how sports books usually work. Sarah Dessen was reading this book and she posted on her blog this one analogy where she said baseball is to the art of fielding as football is to Friday Night Lights. If you haven't watched Friday Night Lights, stop watching this video and go watch Friday Night Lights, the TV show. It is the best possible decision you can make. So go do that. If you have watched Friday Night Lights, you know that the TV show isn't really about football. I mean, obviously, football is a very big part of the story, but it isn't the main part of the story. If you don't know anything about football, you're not really losing anything about what's happening. These stories are really just about these people and these characters and the things that they go through and how they deal with their issues or their problems and their struggles and their relationships with each other and things like that. And so baseball and football aren't really the important parts of these storylines. If it were, everyone who liked football would have gotten really pissed off at Friday Night Lights because all of their games end with, really close calls in the fourth quarter and then the Panthers win it all. Yeah, that doesn't happen in every football game that a team plays. Unless you're the Swindon Town Swoodly Poopers, and then of course everyone knows that you score in the 90th minute or it's a 0-0 draw, so that's the exception. I don't really know how much I can say about this book other than I just loved it. The characters are really compelling. There's a lot of really interesting relationships that happen in this story. Friendships that are made and broken and, significant other type relationships that are made and broken and just dealing with all of these situations. You see Henry going through a lot of stress because of all the pressure that's mounting towards this big record, and then, will he get drafted, will he not get drafted? Mike is a senior and he's trying to get into law school, and so you see his pressure mounting. He's waiting to get an acceptance letter to any of the schools that he's applied to. All of these characters are dealing with stuff, and it's just so interesting to watch and see how they deal with these issues and these situations. This was a book I really had a hard time putting down. I would honestly, just find like 10 or 15 minutes here and there, and I would pick up my book and read a couple pages even though I didn't have that much time, just because I wanted to keep going. And then at the same time, once I realized that there were only maybe 50 or so pages left, I actually started to take my time with the book a little bit because I was like, oh, it's almost over and I don't want it to be over yet. which I think is a really great sign of a book if you're simultaneously rushing through it because you want to know what happens, but then slowing down because you want to savor every moment of it. There were certain moments in the plot where I wasn't crazy about the decisions that were made, but I understood the decisions that were made, and I don't want to get too spoilery in it. One of the relationships that happens is the president gets into a slightly inappropriate relationship, and in the beginning I thought it was kind of weird and I don't want to say awkward, but I was just like, oh, I wasn't expecting that at all. But then by the end of it, they kind of won me over, and I didn't mind them together. I don't know, I think it is very much one of those things where you just sort of read about these characters, and then as you just keep reading, you just love them more, even though they're all completely flawed and have issues and don't know what they're doing. But honestly, I think those kind of are the best characters, you know, the ones that are very real and very relatable. I highly, highly, highly recommend The Art of Fielding. If you haven't read this yet, put it on your list. If you like Friday Night Lights, maybe check this out because I feel like it is very similar to Friday Night Lights in the way that it's very character focused and the characters are very complex in this book. So if that's what you like in a story, you'll definitely like The Art of Fielding. Yeah, that's all I have for my discussion. As usual, if you've read The Art of Fielding, please leave your comments below or make a video response, and I would love to hear what you guys thought of the book. And of course, I have links to my Goodreads, Tumblr, and Twitter down in the description below, so feel free to follow me there. That's all for today, and thanks for watching. I have a mosquito bite. Today I'm going to be nope. Get the book ready. The story also follows a couple other people, lawnmower. I don't know if you could hear that. Unless you're the Swin in Town Swoodly Pooper. Swin in Town Swoodly Poopers. I can't say their name. Swin in Town Swoodly Poopers. Ah!